So graphing with y equals mx plus b is the easiest thing you could do. This is your m and this is your b. You always start with b. So what's your b value? It's 3. That's your y-intercept. So it's going to cross the y-axis at 1, 2, 3 right here. So we're going to put a dot right there at 3. Now from that point, I'm going to go negative, which means down 1 over 2. So from this point, I'm going to go down 1 over 2, and I'm going to put a dot right there. And guess what? I'm done. All I need to do is draw my line right through there. Now, if your line is too short, you could continue with your pattern of your slope, which was down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Now, you don't have to, but at least it gives you a good idea of how to extend it further if you use the slope. If you want to make the line longer, go for it. Number 2, my b value is 1, which means that I start graphing this by going to the y-axis and going to the y value of 1. It crosses right here. Now, we don't know if this line crosses like this, or we don't know if it's really steep like that, or really steep like that. All you got to do to look at your steepness is to look at your slope value, and your slope value happens to be negative 1 over 2. So from this point, you're going to go down 1 over 2. So if you go down 1 over 2, you're going to end up right here, and you just draw your line. Now let's say you think that that line's too short. Well, then continue with your slope pattern of down 1 over 2 and go down 1 over 2, put a dot right there. And you could even go backwards with your slope pattern. Go over 2 up 1, over 2 up 1, over 2 up 1, and put a dot right there. So you could you could also get a ruler technically and line up the ruler right here. That way you get that long line. I would just go with the making it longer. Wow, that came out ugly. Making it longer with the slope pattern. So graphing with slope-intercept form is really easy to do. This one crosses where? Where does it cross the y-axis? 1. So let's all put a dot right there at 1. And what do I do from that point? Up 1 over 2. So up 1 over 2, right there it is. Draw your line, and you're done. Easy, right? You don't have to do any math right here, unless it's not in slope-intercept form. Then you got to do some math and rewrite it in y equals mx plus b form. So this guy right here, where would it cross the y-axis? Negative 1, so you'd put a dot at negative 1. So make sure that you understand that this is the y-intercept. The y-intercept, not the x-intercept, the y-intercept. Okay? So it crosses at negative 1. What do I do from that point?
Up 3.
Up 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. Over? 1. And you put a dot right there. And then you connect the dots, and you're done. Super easy. Okay? Keep going. Number 5. What's the m and the b right there? You can't see it yet. All right? If you think that the b is negative 2, you're wrong. If you think that the slope is 3, you're wrong. Why? Because it's not in slope-intercept form yet. Okay? So what you got to do is divide everything by 2, and you'll have y equals 3 over 2 minus 1. Don't forget about that x. So now it's in slope-intercept form. Now you're able to graph. Where does it cross your y-axis? Negative 1, right there. What do you do from that point? Up 3, so you go 1, 2, 3. To the right 2, 1, 2, and you put a dot right there. Then you connect your dots, and you're done. That's it. Easy, right? Number 6, is that ready to graph? No. Not yet? Okay, so number 6, let's subtract 1. Subtract 1. Y equals 3x minus 3. And where does that cross the y-axis? At negative 3. Put a dot right there. What do I do from that point? Up 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So you end up right here. Then you just draw your line. You're done. That's simple. Last one. What would I do there? The last one I'm not going to do on this video. Subtract 2, subtract 2. Y equals 4x minus 3. So where does that cross the y-axis? Negative 3, what do I do from that point? Up 4, sideways 1, right? So up 4 to the right 1. So if I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I go to the side 1. There I am at the coordinate 1, 1. Just draw your line right through those 2 points, and you graphed it. Might as well keep going. We have time. We could get this one in slope-intercept form, but what would I have to do? First, I would get rid of the plus 2, and I'd get 3y equals 6x minus 3. And for my final step, what would I do? Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So now I'll have the equation y equals 2x minus 1. And this is my slope-intercept form equation. So where does this one cross the y-axis at? Negative 1 on the y. So negative 1 on the y is right here. What do I do from that point? Up 2 to the right 1, and you put a dot right there, and you're done. I mean, you could keep going up 2 to the right 1 if you wanted to make it longer, or you could go backwards and say down 2 and this way 1. But you always want to think of slope as rise over run. Rise could be positive, could be negative, could be going up, could be going down. But the run, we're always going to look at it from left to right. But you could extend it further this way if you wanted to. Then just draw your line, and you're good. That's how you graph. Now, some of these might be so easy that you might get confused. Do you guys remember a couple of days ago we were doing direct variation? And direct variation was y equals a number x. Now, what did I say to do when we were graphing these guys? I would say put a plus 0. Yeah, exactly. Now, I would say back then, because if you put the plus 0, it'll help you remember to start at the origin, right? But I really wanted you to put a plus 0 so you could get used to y equals mx plus b, because your b value is 0. So that tells you your y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? It crosses right here at 0, because the b value is 0. Now, what do you do from that point, 0? Up 2 to the right 1. So you put that dot right there, connect your dots, you're done. Let's go to the next one. Doing this whole worksheet in 10 minutes. Where does this one cross the y-axis? The b value is 0. So it crosses at the origin. What do I do from that point? Down 3 to the right 1. So let me zoom out a little. Down 3 to the right 1, you'd end up right here. Connect the dots, and you're done. Number 11, so easy you might get confused. What's the b value on number 11? 0. Crosses at the origin. What do I do from that point? That's right. The slope is the number in front of x, which is 1 over 1. So you're simply going to be going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And you could use that same slope pattern backwards to make the line as long as you want. And that's how you graph. Number 12. I hope you guys remember from a long time ago that when you have y equals a number, what that really means is that it's going to be a horizontal line through the y-axis value of 2. You guys remember that? No? Okay, now, the old method was with the xy table, and the only thing that this tells you right here is that your y values have to be 2. What about your x values? There's not even an x on here. So you could do anything you want for x. It could be negative 2, could be 0, could be 1, whatever. The only thing that matters is that your y values are 2. So if you did go to the coordinate negative 2, 2, negative 2, 2 is right here. If you did go to the coordinate 0, 2, 0, 2 is right here. If you did go to the coordinate 1, 2, 1, 2 is right there. What kind of line do you have? Horizontal. So you just draw it, you're done. So the shortcut is not really to do this xy table. That's the explanation. The shortcut is to recognize that if you have y equals a number, it's just going to be a horizontal line through that value on the y-axis. Okay? Now, if it were x equals a number, then it would simply be a vertical line going through that value at x equals 2. So if you go to the x-axis and you go to the value of 2 and you drew a vertical line right through that value, that would be your graph. Now if you wanted the actual explanation, you could go to an XY table, and the only thing that this cares about is that your x values are 2. So you can plug in anything you want over here. So if you did go to 2, -3, 2, -3, it's right here. If you did go to 2, 0, it's right there. If you did go to 2, +3, it's right there. We know it's a vertical line. Does that make sense? So if you have x equals a number, it's going to be a vertical line. If you have y equals a number, it's going to be a horizontal line. So number 14, is that going to be a vertical or a horizontal line? Horizontal. So you go to y equals -3, you draw your horizontal line right through there. How about this guy? Let's divide by -3, divide by -3, divide by -3. Your new slope-intercept form equations, y equals, I want to put an invisible 1 right there in front of the x. That way I could have the slope -1/3 with the x on the side plus 2. Everybody with me? So this crosses where? +2. What do I do from that point? Down 1 to the right 3. Connect your dots and you're done. This last one, let's divide, or no, not divide, let's get rid of the 2 first. So you're really going to have -4y, -4y equals -3x plus 12. So let's get rid of that 4, well, I forgot that negative, there you go. Let's get rid of that -4 by dividing by -4, dividing by -4, and dividing by -4. So I really have y equals +3/4 x, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, minus 3 at the very end. So where does that cross the y-axis? -3, right here. Whoa, right here. And what do I do from that point? Up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to the edge right there. And then you just connect your dots, and you're done. That's how you graph. Did every single question on the worksheet. No excuses. I want to pick about 5, 6, maybe 7 of these for tomorrow's quiz. Where are the rest of the questions coming from? From the previous quiz. From the previous quiz.